If you have about $300,000 to spend on a supercar, you've got an enviable but very difficult decision to make. Do you go with the absolutely insane Lamborghini Huracan, or perhaps the precision-engineered McLaren 650S? Or there's the classically beautiful but thoroughly modern Aston Martin DB11. Those are all great choices, but there's always one brand that's going to be difficult to ignore. It's the one with the greatest racing heritage. I am, of course, talking about Ferrari. This is the 488 GTB. It's the successor to the epic 458. It's more powerful, it's faster, it's got better handling, greater aerodynamics, and it looks better too. We're going to find out what it's like to live with the 488, but first, we're going to hit the track. And not just any track. We made a trip out to Lime Rock Park in Connecticut, one of the most beautiful and historic circuits in the U.S. It opened in 1957 and basically sits right inside the little town of Lakeville, so close to the church that racing is banned on Sundays. Thankfully, we came on a Wednesday. Now, this is a very short course, only about 1.5 miles in length, with a front straight that's over before you know it. But even so, I'm hitting 140 miles an hour by the end of this front straight. When the Risi Competizione 488 GTE came here last month, the same guys who got second at Le Mans earlier this summer, they're hitting 150 miles an hour on the front straight. And that's in a full-bore race car with slicks and big wings and professional drivers. There are obviously a lot of differences between the GTB road car and the GTE race car, not the least of which being price. The GTE costs about 3 times as much, but still these two are far more alike than they are different. They share an engine to start, a 3.9-liter V8 that manages 661 horsepower in the road car, almost 100 more than the old 458. The 488's chassis is the same as the race car, and the bodywork is too, mostly anyway, but where the GTE needs a big wing for downforce, the road-going GTB does things much more subtly. Air is channeled through the nose, and a massive diffuser at the rear has flaps that open to manage drag. Those giant scoops behind the doors, the top opening feeds the turbos while air going in the bottom gets ducted through, venting out between the taillights. There's 50% more downforce here than on the 458, and that's despite having less drag and no big wings hanging off the car. And the steering is incredible. This is the most direct, most linear feeling car I have ever driven. If you miss an apex in this thing, you got nobody to blame but yourself. And then, of course, there's the power. The power in this car is absolutely unbelievable. You get in the throttle, and it just takes off. The LEDs start blinking in your face frantically, telling you to grab another gear. Good luck keeping up with that, but thankfully, the car's pretty happy to shift itself if you wanted to. The 488 is amazing. It is absolutely amazing, and while I'm sure the full-bore race version, the GTE, is even more amazing to drive out here, there's one trick that car can't match. The 488 GTB is, of course, a road car, not a pure race car, and as such, it's actually quite livable. The adaptive suspension goes from track-ready to back-friendly with the touch of a button. Practicalities aside, living with a supercar isn't always all that it's cracked up to be. Most cars that can do more than 200 miles an hour are pretty boring to drive on normal roads at normal speeds, but somehow, not this one. The steering is so light and this thing is so nimble that it's a joy to drive at any speed. And sure, most supercars have great sounding engines, but they usually have a lot of road noise and tire drone on the highway too. But somehow, not this one. All the better to hear what you want to hear. The engine. It's an incredible lump augmented with dual twin-scroll turbochargers, and unlike other luxury manufacturers, Ferrari isn't trying to hide them. Not only are the turbos easily visible nested down in that lovely engine bay, you can hear them sucking and whistling on acceleration, and even the concussive hiss of the wastegate when you eventually get on the brakes. There's even a massive boost gauge right there on the dashboard. The car is missing a lot of tech niceties that we've come to expect from modern machines, things like lane keep assist and adaptive cruise control. But that's not to say that this car is lacking technology. In fact, there's plenty of it. There's an electronic rear differential that will automatically vector torque from left to right. And the car has one of the most advanced stability control systems on the planet that doesn't just cut power when you start to slide, it actually adjusts the rear dampers to help you maintain that slide. It'll help you look like a hero. In other words, all the technology in this car is intended to help you go faster. Everything maybe except for the Apple CarPlay integration. Although, hey Siri, should I be taking a late apex into turn 1 at Lime Rock Park?
No. Take a traditional line, but only turn out to mid-track before turn 2. And stop being such a wimp on the downhill.
I guess I need a few more laps. So the 488 looks good, it sounds great, it's got amazing performance. Really the only problem with this car is that as configured, this one costs $358,000. That's more than my house costs. But I think I've got a solution for that too. It's a little cozy, but it's got a great view.